Hi guys, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I want to talk about Banned Books Week. So this is a week where we celebrate banned books, but really we're talking about the reasons why these books have been banned and about the importance of freedom of information and being exposed to challenging materials or books that we wouldn't necessarily read on our own. So most of the information I got from either the American Library Association website at ala.org or bannedbooksweek.org, and I will link all my sources in the description below if you want to check them out, which I totally encourage you to do that. So I wanted to do a list of my favorite banned books, but really that was kind of just going to end up being my favorite books, period, because some of the reasons why these books got banned or challenged was kind of ridiculous. So I'm just going to go through which books they are and why they've been challenged. And across the board, let me just say that I love every single one of these books and I recommend you should read them. And that I completely disagree with the reasons why any of these books are being banned. I don't think any book should be banned. I wouldn't teach 50 Shades of Grey to kindergartners or something, but when it comes to having it in a public library, or these are all at least high school or older age appropriate. Some of them are actually appropriate for younger ages, but that's my blanket rule on all of these instead of reacting to each book. And this list is literally just the order in which I got the information and put them into my list instead of how I actually feel about any of these, just in case you're wondering. So the first book is The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. This book is objected to because of profanity, especially the use of goddamn, sexual references, and spreading propaganda, specifically a socialist agenda. So the goddamn one just completely, I don't know, because there are a lot of other books that use language that's similar. Even Shakespeare used God's teeth and stuff. So, and I don't think that it's unrealistic given the fact that they're in the Great Depression and starving to death. And as for the socialist propaganda, I think it's good to be exposed to viewpoints that are different than your own. Just because you've been introduced to an idea doesn't mean you have to agree with it. The next book on my list is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This book has been challenged based on language and the fact that it references sex. Not even them having sex, which kind of boggles my mind. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. This book first started getting challenged in the 1850s, and I can kind of see the cultural aspects of that time. And this book has been deemed sinful and conflicts with community values. Also, that it's pornographic and obscene. So, for the time it was released in the 1850s, I can see that. The fact that it was still getting challenged on those same grounds in the 1970s and 1980s is kind of ridiculous. Yeah. 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. This is probably the only book on the list where I don't think it should be taught in a school, but it doesn't mean you should ban it from a public library. This book has been deemed sexually explicit, which, okay, it is, yes. Also that it's unsuitable to an age group, specifically that teenagers will read this book and want to try it. I feel like if you put it in the adult section and make people aware that this is not a children's book. And 50 Shades of Grey has also been challenged because it is poorly written. Yes, that's true, but I also don't think that's a good enough reason to take it out of a library. Next on my list is the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, and it's been deemed anti-family and promoting the occult, Satanism, and a religious viewpoint, and also for violence. Okay, this book, I guess Harry doesn't get along with the Dursleys, but it's very much about the importance of family and having friends that are close enough to be family to you. So I don't get the anti-family objection to this book. As for the occult, Satanism, and a religious viewpoint, it's not really a religious thing in here. Harry is born with magic and has no choice in whether or not he is magical. I mean, he could choose not to perform magic. Like, there's no religious aspect to this, really. There are kind of allusions to things that you could see as religious, and morality. Definitely is a moral book, but it doesn't promote Wicca. As for violence, this book isn't overly violent considering the fact that there is a wizarding war going on. Like, most of the attacks are magic and just spells, and I don't know. I don't agree with any of the objections to this book, basically, and I think everyone should read Harry Potter. Next on my list is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. This book is objected to because of, offensive language, racism, unsuitable to age group, and violence. Yeah. Just kinda. The book Summer of My German Soldier by Greene has objections to it for offensive language, racism, and it's sexually explicit. I don't really remember this book being sexually explicit. Maybe. It's been a while. I know I read this book in like middle school too, so like I didn't see anything too strange about it. Okay, this one cracks me up why it's objected to. It is The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. Okay, the book has been objected to because the animals were given human characteristics, including speaking, but also because there's a strong female character in a leadership role, which is just like, why? What? Wait a minute. We're objecting to the fact that there is a woman leading. I can't even, like, I am so glad I live in the now. Seriously. Also, there are objections to this book because there's a good witch, which is theologically impossible, since witchcraft is sinful and bad, and so if you're a witch, you must be evil. Like, really, we're not even objecting to witchcraft as a general concept, but the fact that there's a good witch. Thanks, guys. Then I have James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. It has magical elements, which is objectionable. Like, most children's fairy tales don't have magical elements. And also because there are references to drugs and alcohol in this book. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while since I've read James and the Giant Peach, but I don't really remember drugs and alcohol being a large part of this book. And the fact that they exist doesn't equate to promoting them. Maybe I need to reread this book, but I'm not seeing it. And the final book on my list is Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. It's been objected to because of coarse language and scenes of torture. This is a memoir about war, so these are things that actually happen to real people, and so I feel like torture is a part of war. It's regrettable, and I wish it didn't happen, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it. In fact, we really should talk about the fact that this is happening. And this is one of the reasons why we need to not ban books and be exposed to stuff that we would rather not read, so that we can find out what's actually happening in the world. I just wanted to shine light on what Banned Books Week is and what it means, what's actually happening in the world. Some of these are from like the Wizard of Oz objections were coming from like 100 years ago. Society has changed, thankfully, but some of them really aren't that far back, like the Harry Potter objections, and these are things that are still happening, and I can't even, guys. I am 100% behind people being able to read whatever books they want, and I feel like part of schooling, we should be exposed to beliefs and worlds that are different than our own, including language that we wouldn't normally use. Because, yeah, it should be in a school environment where you can discuss it, not just like out there in the real world without context, I guess. So there is my Banned Books Week video, and let me know what you guys thought of this, what you feel about these particular books, what's the most ridiculous reason you've heard of a book being objected to, and go read banned books, guys. Go read these, go read other books, just go devour all the literature. So peace out, I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye!